Welcome to Whole Lot of Wolves, episode 23 of season 3. I'm Joshua Buckley. Paul LePage still has a hangover from Saturday's game and is unable to make it. So Alex Patakis, our great producer in New York, he is joining me as co-host today. How's it going, Alex?
It's going real well.
This is the importance of squad depth. One man goes down, the other one pops back up. So there you go, Alex. You're on the two deep. Does that feel good?
It does, especially after I almost got transferred away to the Chelsea podcast
last
week, I think.
I would never allow it.
In the mix. Yeah.
I would never allow it. And joining us again from Tennessee Wolves, one of our favorites, Mr. Justin Buznedo. How's it going?
Doing well. I think we should all be on a hangover like Paul after that game. So I'm feeling it too. Good for him.
I will say I find it interesting. Today is the Adama Stands episode. You know, the three big Adama fans, and our boy got an assist. A lot of other great things. Yeah, he should have had two. That's right. But Klopp said none of them count, so it's okay.
True.
What a game Saturday. It was 2-0 before you even finishing your coffee. 3-0 win over Liverpool. Klopp thinks they won 1-0. I don't know, whatever his deal is. Guys, that was fun, and it felt so sweet sticking it to those assholes. Didn't it, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty much the perfect game that you could imagine. I mean, I'm trying to think of what my favorite part of the game and the day was, and it's really hard to single one thing out. I mean, you have Dawson making his debut, who's known for scoring on set pieces. He absolutely rockets one in the back of the net and gets a goal in his debut. You have Neves doing his celebration and reminding the world that it's his celebration and not Marcus Rashford's celebration. You have the team basically just toying with Liverpool for the last 2 to 3 minutes of the game, and Molyneux just applauding them the entire way. And you know, everything that happened in between all those moments was also just pure and utter dominance from Wolves. I mean, the national pundits will make it a story about Liverpool and how they lacked intensity and how they have guys hurt and how they're kind of in a rough spot right now. But at the end of the day, not any team would have shown up and done that to Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. And the crowd was into it. Everybody showed up. It's almost impossible to pick a man of the match because they were all so good. And it just felt like a payoff for pretty much everything that's happened since last February. I remember going to Molyneux last February for the first time, and they lost to Arsenal. If they would have won, they would have gone to fourth. And everything since then was just a downhill slide.
That's right.
And it felt like on Saturday that we turned a corner, and now we're going in a serious direction with a guy in charge who knows what he's doing and a squad that's really deep. So, yeah, it's a miracle we're not all hungover and missing this podcast, to be honest, because we have every reason to celebrate.
I tweeted after, well, it was right before the end of the game, which Joe too, who's a regular on the podcast, was like, "You delete this right now." And then they scored the third goal, so it was over. But I really do. Like you're saying, I feel that was the game. That was the game right there where the Wolves season completely changed, and I feel more that we're not going to get relegated as opposed to we are. You feel that way too, Justin?
I feel good. I don't think I feel that good yet because, and here's my thing. I think if that's our turn the corner, we have the blinker on and we're at the stop sign. Like, these next games are games after a performance like that. You should put teams away, and that will create separation and points from the bottom. If we can get through the next 2 or 3 with a good amount of points and play well consistently, then that corner's there for me. And I feel like I'm Debbie Downer on here after the two of you intro here, but I'm so excited. It's so good. I felt like that was due, man. After the 2 Liverpool matches before, the replay and all the shenanigans, like all that stuff, I felt like that was so due and it was so fun. But yeah, I'm like my blinker's on, man, and I'm ready to turn. They just need to not slide against teams at the bottom of the table that they should put away. And if they can do that, like, and it's funny, I was thinking that right before that game, I was like, if they could just somehow pull this thing out and get 3 points in this game, there's a like a downhill path that you're going to that you can take to really free it up. And then at that point it builds momentum and all that stuff. And that's a great call, Alex, from last year, the Arsenal match, and how it's been like a full year, because it was that really turned the point in the season and everything just went downhill from there. That's a great call out on that too. So yeah, so that's where I am. My blinker's on. I am so ready to turn. We just need one or two more to like punch it through, and I'm there.
Well, Lopetegui, after the Man City game, said, "Hey, this was on me. I had a horrible plan out there." That was not the case this weekend. Boy, the lineup he put out there, putting Dawson over Collins, bold choice. Sarabia, I don't think was as bold a choice. And then the way he used Mario Lemina in a deeper midfield role allowed Neves to basically wreak havoc everywhere. I mean, Alex, that was just genius managing, I felt like.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I actually, because it was so good, I don't often rewatch parts of Wolves games because a lot of times they're painful. I went back and rewatched the first about 30 minutes because I wanted to see, like, were they as dominant as I thought? And they absolutely were. And I think it was, playing Lemina in the role that he was in, he covered so much ground in that game. He won so many balls back for them every time Liverpool was looking like they could be a threat. And, him being put in the lineup and allowing Neves to advance, like, that's a tactical decision. And then what he did with Matheus Nunes, like, there were times that if you were just looking at it, when in possession, Wolves almost looked like they were back in that 4-4-2-2 or a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1, which they employed against Liverpool the first time they scored 3 goals against them, and the third one didn't count. This is the second time they scored 3, and according to Klopp, the third doesn't count. Except this time it was Matheus who was basically just pinning Trent Alexander-Arnold back, and Dave Edwards, who I think was on the comms, called that out immediately. And he said, like, this is a very pointed tactical decision from Lopetegui, and Klopp has no answer for it. Like, that's the thing is, everyone knows what Liverpool is. They're a team that advances the ball up the field with their fullbacks, who are 2 of the best chance creators in the past 3-4 years that we've seen in the Premier League. Lopetegui made sure that, it hasn't been the case lately, but he made sure that it absolutely was not going to be the case against Wolves. And Matheus kind of out on that left side in an advanced role, while it's not his natural position, it worked like a charm. So, yeah, man, he nailed it. Like, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to sound too positive. I think Justin is right about, it's got you got to bury other teams now that look like they're ripe for the taking. But the fact that Lopetegui just completely outmatched Klopp, who resorted to basically making excuses and making shit up afterwards. Like, I mean, like, know what I mean? Like, that feels good to have that manager of that team basically just like flailing and trying to say something that, to cover his team's ass after that beating.
Justin, what do you think Lopetegui told these guys when he came in that has got everybody to buy in? I mean, you have guys that, had no desire to play defense that are running on a press now. There seems to be so much better communication. Like, besides his gentle stroke of the hands on their face and shoulders, what has he told them to get them on there?
I wonder. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I think it's a change of scenery. I think I don't know. Was Bruno a downer? Like, you know what I mean? I think it's just that I say, like, manager bounce, because I think it's more than that. I think it's a culture change, to your point. And so, I mean, think of like Hwang, like what he's pulled out the last several matches too, and it really stuck to watch him go down, unfortunately. But those guys who you kind of like, we signed that guy for a reason, right? You saw something in him, and there were flashes of it, but to start building consistency within there, I think it's just an approach. And obviously, without being in that back room and on the training pitch and stuff, like, I don't know, but I think it's the change of face. And I think there's got to be a totally different approach in that room and what he asks of the players to come out of it. That's my best guess at it.
What was your favorite part of the game?
I'm going to say 2 parts. Cause like Alex, I actually went back and rewatched And my first part was in the beginning of the match when Wolves is like running on the front foot aside. When Liverpool had the ball, their shots in those first 30, 40 minutes were the edge of the box outside. There was nothing good. They just sailed over, and the crowd let them know it every time, which I loved. But they weren't getting anything decent in. And I don't recall a time that I feel like the Wolves have been that tight when they have been defending, and they just couldn't work into anything. And then the other time was at the end when they were just playing with them back and forth and the crowd got into it. I laughed out loud when I was watching that again today. When I was watching the match and stuff, I loved that so much. It sucks to say, but we're not used to being in that situation. And then especially in that situation against like a top 6 club, something like that. And for it to be at home was real nice. And so that was probably my real favorite part, but I enjoyed just watching another team struggle to break through and break in and like it feels like we've done for so long. So I enjoyed that part too.
So I was watching that third goal, and Adama, great play, great pass to Neves in there. I thought Neves was going to bobble it at first there. I was like, oh no, but he slid it home. I watched just Adama on there. After he makes the pass to Neves, he starts walking to the byline. And he's looking back just to make sure Neves scores. And when Neves gets control of the ball, he raises his hands. It was totally the Lane Kiffin signaling touchdown before the ball's even been thrown. Just good stuff.
Before it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. Such a good pass. Oh man, that run in the pass was so nice.
Oh, did you think Raul was going to slot that fourth one, Alex?
Yeah, man. What? Just shoot. There's a couple of those, man. There was a couple late. He came on and looked actually, aside from being completely gun shy, good otherwise. Like getting into decent positions. I don't know why the man won't shoot, but I thought Adama would have had 2 assists for sure. And whoever told Adama, if it is Lopetegui, you can do a low cross. It doesn't have to be skied into the air. It's like unlocking like a brand new element to a player. It's like that ball to Neves is like one he probably could have played so many other times in the past. And granted, Wolves weren't really getting guys into the box in the past that much. But sometimes it's easier to not have it sail into the stands when you just keep it pretty much on the ground to begin with. So I'm very excited about what I'm seeing from our guy.
So we've been bringing up Klopp. He said after the match, people look at the end result and think Wolves were value for 3-0. Liverpool were poor. But that's not the case. Wolves are better in the first 12 minutes and maybe the last 10, but we didn't finish situations off. We had plenty of chances in possession. And then doubled down further and said the third goal, I don't count it because it was the first time they passed the halfway line in the second half. The other 2 goals going into a game with all we said during the week and before the game, then that's a horrible start. This motherfucker. I'm still angry about that. It's like, how can you watch that game? Like you guys said you watched it again. How can you watch that game and go, yeah, we lost 3-0, but honestly, we were only outpaid the first 10 minutes and maybe the last 10. Like what? How angry? I mean, I feel like if Bruno Lage had said that, Alex, like we would be just massacring him right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Like I think he's just. I think Klopp is just saying things because he doesn't know how to like stop this slide that Liverpool is on, and he's really just grasping at straws here. And he's, I like what else is he supposed to say? I guess just it would be nice if he could just admit what actually happened, and it's that Liverpool probably played well for a fraction of the game, the first 15 minutes of the second half, which, if you want to look at it from a Wolves perspective, I think it's really encouraging that they survived that pressure. Up 2-0 with Liverpool actually dominating and Wolves struggling to get out of their own half. It's like Justin was saying, the quality of chances still necessarily weren't great on Liverpool's front. So yes, they did kind of come out, in the second half, energized and, had their own little onslaught, but it didn't really result in anything. So that's another thing that was really exciting. And to see Wolves kind of band together and to see, Cunha coming back and defending. I think Neves had, was in like the top 5 or so of the league in blocks and clearances this week. Kilman, I think, led the league. So they were defending their asses off. And that was, that was really encouraging. Actually, I don't know if he led the league. I know he led the other 14. I don't know about the big six, but I don't remember anyone at Man City having a impressive performance in their loss to Spurs. So top six, my ass.
Can you imagine having Kevin De Bruyne on your roster and not starting him? Like, that just blows my mind.
For tactical reasons. I don't know what that tactic is, but
man. Justin, like Alex was talking about, the first 15 minutes of the second half, it was like, this is gonna be a long half. And then Lopetegui, again, he's reading the situation and makes changes. Like, this is just a novel concept for a manager to make changes when things are looking a little dicey.
I had that note from it that he saw how things were going and made the changes. Yeah, and I think that's something Bruno certainly doesn't do. And I'm not to keep dogpiling on him, but it just
we have no problem with that.
But that's just not something he would have done, and it's great. He saw the pressure, and also say it's bullshit that we didn't get across the line, because I was rewatching for that today too. We got across the line before that goal. So whatever, Klopp. But that's actually one of the things I loved about it too, is that he made that change. And I think the only reason Dama went there before was Lang, and I think going down and stuff. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it had probably been a late change too. But they held so firm on that. And to be fair, to what Klopp said, if probably anybody other than him or Pep say that, they are getting hammered in the media, right? For just give me a break, watch the match, guys. But the other part of that too is I would expect most clubs, especially Liverpool, down 2-0, to come out firing the first 15, right? So like that to me, that's expected. And to Alex's point, I think that's indicative of how well they played, because the other team's going to take their shots, and that's exactly what they did. They withstood, and then leveled the game back off and actually put it away, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later. So I think that's a testament. And again, it adds to how well they played the entire match.
I think another thing, Justin, that I like about Lopetegui is that, even when Nuno was here, when they were struggling to score and stuff, he was always like, oh, we got to find solutions. We got to find solutions. Lopetegui against Man City, he came out and said, hey, I made the wrong decisions. I made the wrong tactical decisions. And then this game, when he should be like, hell yeah, motherfuckers, let's go. Instead, he credited the fans. He said the energy from the fans was key for us today. We're going to need them through the good and bad until the very end. Man, that's a manager you can get behind, right?
Multiple times he said stuff like that, right? That's like either in advance of need the fans, but after the fact, saying like, credit to the fans. They brought us the energy and they brought us the support that drove us out on the field that day. So yeah, certainly not the first time he's made a positive call out to the fans like that. And it's fun. You wish you were there to hear that type of atmosphere in person, right? But even hear it that loud and clear on TV is fun.
Alex, did you wear the turtleneck on Saturday?
No, but I wish I would have, honestly, because it did feel like a little bit of a Lopetegui masterclass to some degree. But I did change the luck on my Wolves warm up fleece pullover, so I'm happy to keep rocking with that one for the next couple of weeks.
So a little bit of good news there after this week's results. Opta Analyst came out with predicted final league positions. Wolves, they have only a 10.5% chance of finishing in the bottom three. Alex, over under buying 10.5%.
Is it under if I say that? Wait, hold on. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify.
Yeah.
I should clarify. Okay. Are you buying the 10.5% chance, or are you saying the chance of safety is a little bit less than 80?
I think it I'll buy that. That's a if I were guessing what I had to assign a percentage to, that I would say that that's probably right about where it is. And I think, to Justin's point earlier, I think 2 weeks from now that could absolutely change if they just win against the bottom two teams in the league, or the next fixtures that they have, then I'll feel really good. Injuries are always a thing. Although I will say I feel a lot better about the squad depth. I think there are very few guys on the team now that I feel like they wouldn't be able to survive and stay in the Premier League if they lose them. I will not name them because I don't want to jinx anybody. But I think we know one of them. He is our king, and it's his celebration. But he's probably the only one that I could really think of right now. So they really should stay up. They're deep now. I mean, if you want to just a testament to their depth, I know this is heavily influenced by injuries that Liverpool have too. They have a lot of issues, but our bench options were also way better than theirs. Like when Lopetegui makes a decision to go to the bench to change the game, the fact that a club like Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp don't even have that ability, and they're instead bringing in like 37-year-old James Milner and 32-year-old Jordan Henderson, who I think have both seen better days. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of crazy. That's a far cry from the Fosun and Wolves that we were talking about before, where like their only bench player was Joe Hodge. Like it's like who the hell was that guy anyway? So
yeah, that
I
was just back in November too. It's crazy.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, and that's without João Gomez even being in game shape yet, right? So they're only theoretically going to get deeper. Pedro Neto is going to be out of that mix. We might talk about that a little bit later. So 10%, sure, I'll take it, but it could be much lower in 2 weeks from now. So I'm looking forward to continuing to see those metrics.
Do you think that 10%, Justin, is fair? 10.5%?
I'm still on the same page here. I think we need more points first. I think it's a little low. With these next two teams, if we can legitimately pull 6 points out of that, have 3 in a row, even 4 points to keep momentum if we were to draw with somebody. But yeah, if talk to it in 2 weeks, if we're there, then I feel like that 10% is probably close, because we'll have a little bit of run after that of a couple of teams I think that are obviously going to be a little more challenging. So, but we need more points in the next 2 matches.
Well, let's talk about a couple of the new guys. Craig Dawson, Justin, does he stay in the lineup, and does he stay partnered with Kilman?
I like that matchup. I don't know. I'm certainly not the expert, but I felt like, I know he'd gotten some good press, but I felt like Collins had struggled a little bit. There were just some moments the last few matches where Collins had just kind of a little flub, something where he did some good stuff too. But the way Dawson played, and to score, right guy, he was at the right place at the right time for that. But he seems to be that guy sometimes, right? I liked the pairing of them together. I thought it did well, so I think he stays in for now. I like it.
I know Alex is all on the Dawson train.
Well, yeah, last week I wasn't necessarily, and I was wondering, like, why is everyone saying this guy's automatically slotting in? But even the goal aside, you kind of have to say, like, it would be silly to break up that pairing now. Mm-hmm. And I thought he looked really good defensively. He certainly looked like a vocal leader, which a lot of people said that he was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know enough about the sport and the way it works, but I would venture to guess that having a guy like with the experience of Collins next to him might have been a reason why Kilman had what I felt like was another really great game, and kind of restoring him back to that form where you were looking at him like, how was that guy not in the England team? So I feel like you have to ride the hot hand, and if they're both comfortable and both playing well with each other, I feel like you gotta keep it for now.
Justin, I think Sarabia is definitely one of the first guys you write in, but with Hwang hurt, who starts in his place? Would it be Podence or Adama?
I think Lopetegui loves bringing in Adama later to put pressure, and as that boost. So I would think Podence would probably make more sense as a start, and then you sub him out. It just seems to use them tactically more that way thus far.
I agree. Alex?
Yeah, I think so. I think Adama's kind of super sub role has been working out recently, so I think you gotta stay with that. I'm pretty upset about Hwang missing time just when I feel like he found really good form from the World Cup onward. I thought he was really good on Saturday. And just a one note I had made just to make mention of, um, when you watch a game like that and you see how fluid the front three, the attackers look, all of a sudden having a quote unquote true number 9 doesn't feel like as big of a necessity. I thought that Sarabia, Hwang, Cunha all kind of looked interchangeable. All were creating chances. All were making good runs. I thought Sarabia played a couple of balls that, they didn't necessarily result in assists because the Matip own goal wiped that out. And then I think Nori had a chance on a through ball from him. Like they all looked really energetic and really good. And I just keep going back to that thing that Paul said last week about if Lopetegui thought that a true number 9 was what they needed and that somebody putting the chances away was the problem rather than the chance creation, then he would have went out and got that. So I just mentioned that because I hope with Hwang coming out and Podence coming in, they don't miss a beat, because I thought the three of them together looked really good.
And Lopetegui dropped a little bit of a nugget that Neto's not that far away. Yeah. So that could be exciting.
I know. Jeez.
That could be exciting as well. And then I think Lamina, for sure, with Neves and Nunes, I think that's a for sure pairing from now on. You agree, Justin?
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
He really is, man.
Oh. Yeah. He was marking Salah a bit sometimes, and he was pretty physical with him, which, I really, really enjoyed watching that. And he was just messing with him. I know there was that one couple times in the box he was doing that. And there was that one time Salah kind of had a chance, and he kind of stepped back in, and kind of just, I don't think he got his foot on the ball, but he got enough in the way that he sailed it over the goal. It was just fun to really watch him just kind of bounce around, and he was real active. So yeah, I think he certainly brought some energy getting in there and mixing it up.
Alex, I think what's interesting is we thought, Neves, even when Lamina came in, was still going to do the dirty work, and it was flipped. It was actually Lamina that was doing all the dirty work and allowing Neves to just go where he wanted. Kind of a interesting choice and a pleasant surprise, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Neves has shown that he can be a guy who does the dirty work plenty, and he's always pressing, and he's really good at that. But we've never really, because of the makeup of the team, almost the entire time he's been here, we've never seen what he can do with a little bit more freedom and with the ability to kind of get forward. And so far, so good. The goals we remember from Neves are always from outside the box, but this one clear chance from inside will be memorable for a long time. And
but it didn't count, Alex.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, it only counts if you dominate the entire half. One thing that makes me sad about it, though, is that if Lamina is taking the Neves role, does that make it easier for Neves to then just go Lamina is already the Neves replacement as Neves is in the lineup? And it kind of made me sad. I was thinking about that because seeing Lamina kind of drop back and sometimes play between the two central defenders, I'm used to seeing number 8 there, but instead I saw 5 with the platinum hair and the thunder thighs. And I was like, is that our future? Because he's great. I love him, but man, I just keep thinking about Neves, and then how many more games of this we get, because he just provides so many moments that just feel so special for this club.
Yeah, and then we have Yao Gomez too. So it'll be interesting. I think, Justin, I think Neves, he's gonna go somewhere like Barcelona, but I think ultimately he's just going to be another guy kind of there, don't you think? I mean, not saying he's not going to be good, but he's not going to be like the cult hero that he is here.
No, I don't think so. I think he's just special to the club for what he's been through with the club and what they've done, right? And then, yes, Alex, your point, it's his memorable goals are mostly bangers, just crazy shots from somewhere and at the right time and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think anytime you work your way through and go through the ebbs and flows to celebrate and win and achieve new things with the club, you're going to be kind of memorialized for that. And he's going to go there and he'll be good. He's great, right? But he's not going to live through that kind of legacy. He'll always kind of be one of the Wolves players. I think it's the way he'll always get looked at. But to your point, yeah, it's sad. It sucks to think, and I think they even called out on the broadcast, but it's kind of an inevitable thing with contracts, people to bring in and all that kind of stuff too. So, I don't know if he's gonna go nuts here the last, 2.5, 3 months of the season. If he does free up his kind of role in what he's done, and then he's gonna get real hot right at the end, which is great for us. Let's write it. That's gonna happen. So I'm not mad about that, but maybe have a proper send off that way. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, guys, we've talked a lot about this game, but any final thoughts that we haven't gone over, Alex, that you have about this game?
Not really. Just that, I think that every season like has what feels like its pivotal moment, and I really thought ours was gonna be one that like doomed us to relegation, and I just feel like that I have changed my tune on that so much. So I feel so good. I think we hit it all. It was just what felt like a perfect day. Literally the only thing that could have made it better is if somehow after the game, like they just announced a Neves extension, which is totally unrealistic. So otherwise, all good things happened. Only good
or
things.
Or an
happened,
Adama
really.
extension, so I could.
Yeah, so we could get the
Justin,
hair going.
will you dye your hair blonde with me if Adama signs an extension?
I can. It's not going to do me any good. Yeah, I could pull some from photos from college where I did that once and made that mistake. So, I don't think what I have left would really matter that much.
How about we just have you get dreads? That work?
There we go. I can do something like that. Well, I can do something with my beard. How about that?
All right, now we look ahead to the Southampton game on Saturday. It's at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. And joining us from In That Number podcast is Tim Bizants. How's it going, Tim?
As we look ahead, are you actually looking ahead? Like, why? Like, what are we looking for? Are you looking for a train wreck? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You guys are Wolves fans and not Southampton fans. So, yeah, that's how life is going on over here. Sitting at the bottom of the table right now, facing relegation.
So I feel like I'm kind of guessing the answer to the first question here, which on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the level of concern for relegation amongst the fans?
So I was talking about it, and this morning our cast came up. I was talking with Ray on it yesterday. So we were looking at the 7 stages of grief, and everyone is a little bit at a different level. So stage 3 is anger, and I'm not quite there yet. I've gotten past denial. So I think it's like stage 2 at this moment, and I have to look it up just to remember correctly. But so when you're looking at it, like I don't know, like is it mourning your sadness? But no, really, pain. It's just pain at this point. It's just pain, guilt. I don't think it's really guilt, but there's just pain in my life, and it's not fun. Not a fan. To fully answer your question, it's probably, for me, it's a 9. This past week was really the end. It was, I would say, the end was the last real hope and chance, and surprisingly enough, it was also because of Everton getting and signing Sean Dyche. And when you're at that low in the table, you are looking at the people around you to see where everybody else is at. And are you one of the 3 worst teams in the league? And we are absolutely one of the 3 worst teams in the league. So it knocks Everton out with Sean Dyche, who's going to give them the promise and opportunity to keep them up. I think Bournemouth is dead in the water alongside us. But who are you going to fight? What's going to happen? I mean, we threw tons of money this off season and even in the January window, but nothing looks promising at the moment.
You don't know though.
So
A few short weeks ago, Wolves were there, right? And we're not that far clear. Like you're talking like we haven't been close to that. We were the bottom of the table a few weeks ago, so there's hope, and you're a win away, man. So
Mm-hmm.
not all doom and gloom. We all felt that way for a while, and probably still do apprehensively.
Still
So
still a little
try to give
trepid.
you a
Yeah.
little silver lining, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, I feel like you're
Yes,
setting
but
us up for a nice 2-0 Southampton victory.
not a chance in hell. So I think Lopetegui was great to get you out and to be able to allow you to be safe. Now, what position are you going to be at? Where will you end up this season? You'll be safe now. Mid-table, somewhere around like 11th, 12th, or something like that. That seems plausible or likely. Maybe even 13th or something like that. They'll scrape by in what was probably a not so good start to the first half of the season. Started really bad with is it pronounced Kalisadech? I can't pronounce. I forget his name. The your striker that you played for one half and then is out for the rest of the season. Who
He's
tore
big
his
we call him Big
big
Sassy or
big
Special K. Yeah. Yeah.
Special K.
Mhm.
I think is it Sasa? Is his actual
Yeah.
first name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
so
Sassy.
Sasa. And so he tore. He tore his ACL halfway through, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oof. Oh, that's not good. Your brand new signing is out.
It was
But we've
less
signed a
than
number of
ideal.
players too. Yeah, that's true.
Lopetegui gave Wolves a major boost. Is
Mhm.
there like a rescue lever you could pull and a guy that you can hire? And will Nathan Jones be managing the team? Like after Saturday, this guy seems incredibly unlikable and doesn't want to be accountable for anything that's happening at Southampton. So where are you at on him? And do you think he'll be around much longer?
The likelihood of him making it to March at this current pace is, I mean, it's probably above 75% chance that he will not make it to March at the current pace. I mean, actually, take that back. It's 100% chance that he's going to not make it to March at the current pace. It's a 75% chance at whatever threshold or giving any odds that he'll make it to March. I think that he. So let's take a look back at where he comes from. So he made 2 stints at Luton, in which he was able to bring them from League Two, downtrodden League Two, all the way up to what was the playoffs last year. And he had a small blip where he went over to Stoke City. And once again, that was just a complete failure. He circled back, came right back to Luton, and picked up the pieces right where he left off, and allowed the opportunity to mold and play I guess the setup that he would want, and knowingly facing the opposition and can do what would be maybe the back against the wall or the odds are not going to be in your favor. So when he comes to Southampton, you would think that with backing, he's going to be able to be moldable. He's going to be able to work with us, and you'd think he would be like that. We're thinking, okay, we're going to get 15th place out of this, and he's just going to continue on, and he's not going to be anything as a success. But he's been close to, if not an abject failure. There was 3 games in a row that he did win. One of which was a Premier League game. The other was the FA Cup against Crystal Palace, and the other one with that was the Manchester City game, which was the only game that he actually truly looked good in. And that was a 2-0 defeat, and that's just as much as Nathan Jones looked good. Pep looked like shit. So I mean, the two goals in which, and it was a fully deserved win at that, and we're all like, "Woo, 3 goals, or 3 wins in a row. Yeah, we'll take it. This is going to be great." And he's been back to being a failure ever since. You're right that he does not take ownership of what he says. Everything is somebody else's fault, and I feel that he's just a pissy little bitch that needs to work his way back into what he is good at and and do his job and shut his mouth. And if he shuts his mouth, people might like him a little bit more and give him maybe a couple more weeks. But at this current rate, you know, he's the idea that he refers to them as they, it's him against the world. It's not Scott Pilgrim versus the world, it's Nathan Jones versus the world. And the problem is unlike Scott Pilgrim, Nathan Jones isn't likable. Scott Pilgrim is. So there's a big difference there.
I do have a couple of positives for you. So Opta analysis came out with predicted Premier League final positions, and you guys have a 20.6% chance not to be in the bottom three. And you guys could still win the FA Cup and play in Europe next year.
That would be fun. Let's do a Wigan. And so it's fun, we'll go and play in, because FA Cup is Europa.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and play Marseille midweek away, and then we'll play home against Plymouth Argyle. It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. It's so much fun. They're top of League One right now, and let's go play the Pilgrims. And then on top of that, we're gonna go get our, go sit on a sunny beach in France. Fun item is the people guess who we drew. We drew Luton or Grimsby Town. So we will be hosting, likely, Luton in the 5th round of the FA Cup. So if you want to see the Nathan Jones derby, and I have predicted that we will lose that game and he will get fired after that.
Oh, our irony. Well, we've got a familiar face from you guys in our lineup now, and that is Mr. Mario Lemina. We're falling in love with him pretty quickly. What's the scouting report for Southampton fans on him? Because I don't think you guys liked him that much, did you?
That was primarily due to his attitude. So I really wanted to take a look at the idea of Mario Lemina when he came through. And I don't know how much you guys follow Southampton, but there was this manager that we had. His name was Ronald Koeman, and he was fantastic. He was probably, if not the most successful, one of the most successful managers in the history of even in the short time at the level of success that he was able to push. And that's because he was able to get us into Europe and qualifying places. So Mario Lemina came in between going into the second year of Koeman's stint. And it was fantastic because, well, he was a record signing at the time at £15 million. He came in and he signed from Juventus, so had a real strong pedigree coming from Juventus, and even then Marseille before that, thinking, oh, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? And looking at that, he came in and he thought he's going to be able to walk into the team, but guess what? He didn't. And the reason is I want to pull up this roster here really quick. I'm going to tell you who was our center midfielders in the 16-17 window. And all the names should sound familiar to you at this time. And we are going to go with, Mario Lemina, obviously mentioned, Oriol Romeu, who is a 6-year starter for us, consistent and fantastic starter. Continuing on, James Ward-Prowse, who did not quite solidify himself as a center midfield at the time. He was bouncing around a lot of times, either as an attacking midfielder, heavily used as a right midfielder as well, but classified technically as a center midfielder. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, which I think we all know from Spurs. Stephen Davis, who you may not know, but was an absolute strong player who now plays for Rangers. But he was fantastic and really built us up for the championship and came with us and was a stalwart. And Harrison Reed, who is the current starting 6 for Fulham. So those are the 6 players that are the center midfielders at the time. So while Koeman did play a 4-3-3, he didn't really use any of them in that 10 role except for Ward-Prowse. So he couldn't walk into the team because Romeo was so good. Højbjerg was signed the year before. And then he got pissy because of it. He has all the talent in the world. He's a box-to-box midfielder who can make anybody look silly on his day. He's extremely physical now, and while I haven't seen him when he played at Nice, I did follow him when he was at Fulham. And to me, he showed the flashes that he did when he was at Southampton, and was really. I mean, I was unfortunate to see him go because I would have loved to see him play, but I wasn't upset because we had Oriol Romeo, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and James Ward-Prowse really coming into his own and solidifying that. So, who's your fourth? The guy who's going to have a little bit more of the attitude issues. Goodbye. See you later. Not gonna worry about it. But overall, that he's going to have a physical presence. He's going to stabilize your midfielder, and as long as he's able to handle the attitude and let Ruben Neves do the dirty work, he's going to come in there and he's just going to it's going to be like a 1-2 punch between the two.
There may not be that many informed players just given the current slide with Southampton, but if you had to like envision the scenario where Southampton wins, like what does that look like? Like how do they create a threat against Wolves on Saturday? And who do they put out there?
Well, I think Giant Meteor would be our best friend. It's just just throw it down and just leave it there. Just boom, big old giant meteor happening. That would be that. Now, but to be serious, so what you're gonna want to look at is the recent January signings, as nobody has really been able to become a stalwart within the last year. So let's look to the new players that they just signed. If you haven't seen it yet, there's two of them. Kamaldeen Sulemania. He is a left winger, and the guy is super fast. We're talking speedster. He could basically be. This is going to sound crazy to think about, but the most likely person that he has is Murdoch from Chelsea, where he has the speed and the pace, but a lot less hype. Primarily because he comes from Rennes. And he didn't make the Ghanaian. Ghana didn't make the World Cup. So in doing that, he didn't make the team. I'm sorry, never mind. He did, but he didn't make the World Cup squad. So that's another thing, another issue with it. So taking a look at him, he came on for 45 and looked every bit the part that it was described, but because he had one training session, was running around like a madhouse and out of position the majority of the time. So if he got the ball, he looked good, but he couldn't get it. And Brentford is a well-drilled machine, so it just didn't work out. And the second one is Paul Onuachu. If you haven't seen the scouting report on him, take a look at him. He is 6'7", and he is basically a bigger and faster Peter Crouch. He is just as massive, and if you saw as both of them walked in, Sulemania and Onuachu, one is 6'7" and the other is 5'9". So it was like the 12-year-old older brother and the 5-year-old little brother walking in together as they come in and sign and have their big.
We had that briefly with Big Sassy and Potence.
Yeah, 5'5", and how big is Sassy?
I think he's 6'7" as well.
Yeah, 6'7".
Jeez.
Potence is 5'5" on a good day. Wearing heels.
Better. Mm-hmm. So taking a look, he's a leading scorer for Genk, and the leading scorer in the last 4 years in the Belgian Super League or Premier League, or I think it's called the Belgian Super League. So he is a massive beast, and hopefully he can be able to fight against Max Kilman and Craig Dawson. But I think Dawson doesn't put up with that type of stuff. Now Max Kilman, I don't know. He's really good with his feet, so hopefully he'll get low, and Onuachu can just like jump over him and score header off a set piece, which we've only had one, not including the actual Ward-Prowse free kicks, only from a corner kick or from a dead ball outside of Ward-Prowse's. So that's the hope and that's the goal. And with Nathan Jones having a lot more of a direct play, I don't know I haven't seen the possession stats with Lopetegui's with his team, but we've given up possession to every team except for Sheffield Wednesday, and whoever the other team was that we played in the FA Cup recently. So so taking a look at that, yeah. So basically, only against Blackpool. So against lower league opposition are the only times that we've had more possession. So look for a 60-40 split with you guys having the ball, and hopefully that, at least from our end, we can get some direct play with Adams linking up with Onuachu and the speedster Kamaldeen Sulemania running around.
So it sounds like you're predicting a 3-0 Southampton win, right?
I will stick with what I had on our cast, and that was a 4-1 Wolves win.
4-1?
Man,
if we score 4 goals on the road, man, I will run to Chicago with no pants on.
All right, 4 goals on the road. All right, if Raul Jimenez does, he's going to score 2 of them as well. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, we're gonna make you guys look so good. And yeah, it's just pain. It's just pain right now. So I mean, for me, I'm based in the U.S. and been following the team for about a decade now, and really, it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good.
Are you going to do the
I couldn't
podcast
imagine with
still?
Ray
Are you going to do the podcast still if they're in the championship next year?
That's Ray's plan, and I'll definitely do it with him. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll have to have a lot more game reviews because more games having to play starting earlier in the FA Cup. And then especially since we're gonna win the FA Cup, we have to play in Europe. So it's gonna be great. We're gonna pull a Wigan. Everything's gonna be fun.
That's sort of positivity I like.
All right. If something does come back 4-1, okay, find whatever foundation that you have for Wolves, the charity foundation, and donate £4 10 pence to the foundation as a means to it.
Okay.
That's what I when we lost 9-0 twice, rather than piss and moan, I did the opposite, and I said, all right, so here's £9 to the Saints Foundation. It's something that you love and you care about, and the team might be downtrodden, but looking at the opportunities at hand, well, still going to support them nonetheless. It's just not going to be as fun. And here in the States, ESPN Plus only shows one game at each window, so I may not even be able to watch all the games.
Well, hopefully I don't know. I want to say hopefully you avoid relegation, but that means we're right in the mix. So I hope you guys come up quicker.
Well, let's go with Bournemouth, Everton, and I got to root against Leeds, even though they got tons of American players and they just fired Jesse Marsh. So I guess you got to go for Leeds, and so for us, we'll have a miracle run and
with my boy over there, Weston.
Jeez. No, it's there's having so many Americans on the team. It's a lot of fun it is genuinely fun to watch them. And I was over in England in May this past year, right at the last 2 weeks for 2 weeks I was there, and I was there for the last game of the year, and I was in London, and I was staying right near Brentford. So Brentford was hosting Leeds, and I went to the Leeds bar because there was a bunch of Americans that were there that I had a connection with, and so we went there, and it was so much fun watching them. It was so much because that was the game that they had to win to stay up, and they won, and they did it. And Jesse Marsh is like running around, and he's literally wearing a sweater that looks like this. Actually, I call this the Jesse Marsh sweater, because if you see pictures of him, it looks like he's got like this silver grayish sweater on. But just a damn good time. And but yeah, got to root against him now. So oh well, sorry, Leeds.
Is what it is. Hey, thanks for
Pound
coming
on,
on,
you know?
Tim. We appreciate it, man.
All right,
All right,
take
talk
care.
to you later. All right, guys. Thanks for Tim Bizants for coming on and giving us some good stuff about Southampton. How we feeling? I mean, he seems to think it's going to be a bloodbath, but I'm a little worried. I mean, they're last place in the table, and this is usually the type of games that Wolves would find a way to kind of screw up, right, Justin?
Yeah, that's my worry here, right? Letdown game, team, play to your opponent's level, which, I mean, you say that as a 15 barely clear of the bottom three. So I can't brag like we're in the top half of the table for that. But it's just such a massive win to come off of, and then to travel. Again, that's why I'm thinking like this is a crucial game to build momentum toward staying up and continuing to build stuff. So this feels like it could be one of those like like trap games kind of thing, right? That they need to come out, push hard, get a lead, get another one, and just then hold tight and dominate from there. Except the longer a game like this goes, the more risk you are of blowing something late, giving up something late, and we're really good at that sometimes. So I don't want that to happen.
Alex, do you think this is going to be a type of game where we really see what type of manager Lopetegui is?
Yeah, I think so. I think it can be. I think it's important for him to emphasize, that the team isn't safe, which I think, most good managers do. And I think he's been, saying all the right things in the press. I think even after the Liverpool game and even after some of their recent wins as of late, he just says that, he's happy with the performance. The work isn't over. The work isn't over. And I think that if they come out and they look as energetic and dominant as they did in the early stages of the Liverpool game, which again was at home in a really good atmosphere, but they also helped create that atmosphere with their play. So if they can go and do that on the road, then I feel like it is a good reflection of the buy-in that exists for these players with him. So I'm absolutely hoping that this is one where we look back and say, without Lopetegui, we wouldn't have been able to go, trounce a bad team on the road to further secure our, we'll go closer to securing our safety.
So the next three games are Southampton and then Bournemouth and Fulham. Those three games, how many points would we need to get for you to be like happy, Alex? Is it 7? 9?
Oof. Fulham's a tough one, man.
It
like
is.
That is
at Fulham too.
I'm gonna say I would be happy with 7. I would be happy with 6, because I think a loss to either Southampton or Bournemouth will make me very unhappy, and the only way to fix that would be to beat Fulham. So either way, I would say 6. Not winning either of those games, I think then we're back in like relegation territory, and all these good vibes that we've manifested today are going to shit. So 6 points is my answer.
Justin?
Yeah, I was trying to debate if 5 would be enough if we won and then actually got points at 2 away matches. Yeah, with the 2 of the 3 being away, that was my big thing. But again, we're not that far up on the table. I mean, shoot, Southampton, they're at 18 points with a win over us, and they're out of the zone almost, or right there on the line, right? So it's not an undoable thing. But if we come away with, I'm real happy if we come away with 6. If we take care of business the next 2 weeks, I feel a little bit better if we don't pull anything out away at Fulham. So I'm happy with 6. I'm real happy with 7, and I'm gonna pop some champagne if we pull 9, just for fun. So I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and then I saw on there people were kind of asking you put in the next 2 games with Newcastle and Spurs in there as well. And I said, I think if over that 5-game stretch we get 8 or 9, I'd feel probably pretty good, I think. Because Newcastle's playing so good and it's at Newcastle. I think that's on a Friday night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So could be interesting. Justin, any lineup changes other than, taking out Huang?
I think I'm going to say no because it worked, but that's why I'm not a manager, because I think, we talked about riding hot hand, and I think Lopetegui would make a change if he felt there was a tactical need for it versus just riding a hot team that played well against Liverpool. So I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he made a tweak here or there. But obviously the Wang change, and I think to the point earlier, he goes Podence to start that one.
Mm-hmm. Alex, you think the same too? Even Aitnery and Bueno?
Yeah, that's the only one I was going to mention because it felt like for a while that Bueno had solidified his position as the starting left back for the team. But I don't know what it is about Mohamed Salah being on the other side of the field. But Aitnery, he seems to really love to play against him. Like
it's a hair thing, right?
Maybe it is because Aitnery offers a lot going forward, but I think to round out his game, everybody wants more defensively. But some of his best defensive games have come in the matchups he's faced Salah in his career, which I think is really impressive. So I think I would like to see him stay in the lineup because I thought he looked really good. Yeah, Semedo to me is automatic. So yeah, I think, and I feel like you have to go with that midfield 3. It offers Wolves the ability to control so much of the game, to win so many balls. They felt like they were the first to every loose ball in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like the idea of having the option, because I don't think Gomez will be in the team yet, but we were talking about Adama coming off the bench for very, very different reasons. I also love Moutinho off the bench. Like this guy has started he's amazing. He's absolutely class, but he started way too many games at his age and played way too many minutes at his age. But for 20 to 30 minute periods to bring you that experience,
yeah,
and
the
that ball he played to Adama to set up the assists and Neves,
the way he won the ball too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if that's. I'm not saying it's not like it doesn't happen if he's had played 70 full minutes already, but he sure made it look easy on pretty fresh legs. So, but keep the same midfield 3, and I think Moutinho is a guy who you could count on coming in off the bench. Same with Adama.
I like it. Okay, well, we heard Tim's prediction of 4-1 Wolves.
7 goals in 2 games. Can you imagine?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Golly. That would be insane, especially since they had scored 5 up to that point. Okay, Justin, I'll let you start off first. Helping out the guest spot, which is in second place in the standings. What is your prediction?
I think we get a 2-1 win. I think 2 goals are doable. I think 4 is crazy. Sorry, buddy. As much as I would like that. Yeah.
Okay, Alex. This is a chance for you to gain 3 critical points on Paul.
Yeah, I need that. I'm going to say 2-0 Wolves. Less convincing than the Liverpool win, but a clean sheet and 3 points. Bring it on. Let's do it.
I'm gonna say 1-0 Wolves. Just because it's on the road. It's a little team. I think we'll pull it out. So, but it's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna get a little dicey there at the end. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's 4-1.
Yeah.
As long as we don't go. Imagine going down 1-0 and then scoring 4 straight. That would be the even crazier part.
Oh man. Yeah. I would sign up for that. The temporary anxiety and then just euphoria being like, I can't believe we're still scoring. It's
Right.
Okay, Alex, I think we have a lot of no stupid questions, huh?
Yes, we do. All right. So no stupid questions. Your chance each week to ask us anything. Could be about the team, the lineup, game day, atmosphere, etc. Whatever it is, you tweet them at us each week at WLW Pod is the show's Twitter handle. It's one way to reach us. Hello at wholelotofwolves.com is the email address if you want to send them there. So we'll start with Sam Spencer, who goes back to the Craig Dawson point we were talking about earlier. He asked us, with the introduction of Dawson now, if Everton go down, where does that leave Connor Cody? Because I don't think they have an obligation to buy if they go down, right? I don't think they have one anyway. So
yeah, I still I think they have the option to buy at least. I still think they'll buy him and just ask him to lead him back to there. I don't really know what the market would be on Cody, and unfortunately, I think his time at Wolves is over. Yeah, especially with Dawson coming in. So my guess is he's going to stick with Everton even if they go down, and because it's not like there's a World Cup around the corner.
I mean, new manager too, right? So does that even fit in the plan, right?
It's true.
When he was gone, does that, it's a different thing. So yeah.
And I would say, no slight to Connor Cody, club legend. He's probably a bit more of a championship level center half than a Premier League level center half at this point.
And it's tough to say because ultimately he was playing that position and he was captain when he led Wolves to quarterfinal appearance in Europa. I think he's, how in baseball out here they call guys like 4A players where it's like they're dominant in 3A, then they get to the majors and they're okay and stuff. I think he's not necessarily that 4A level, but he's higher than that, but I don't think he'll ever be somebody that starts on a top 4 team anymore.
Yeah. Certainly. All right. Moving along. Stu asks, after the polo neck sales, has an order been placed for khaki chinos this week? I guess I can address this one because I said that Lopetegui's fashion was infiltrating my subconscious because I was buying turtlenecks out of nowhere. I have some khaki chinos. I actually do need new ones. I'd like to have a couple more in the rotation. And after seeing Lopetegui rock them on the sideline, I say let's do it, man. I love the varied fashion choices of this man as opposed to like Bruno Lage in a tracksuit, looking grumpy, no passion. It's just totally reinvigorated like everybody. And it's kind of fun to see like what he's going to rock each week. I have to be honest. He dresses for the occasion, which I can appreciate.
Man, I cannot wear khakis without pleats in them, man. It just looks it like hugs a little too tight in areas.
Fair enough. Unless Justin, you have anything to add on Lopetegui's swag.
I know. Thanks to that, I've been noticing more. That's something I was tracking early on, but very, very noticeable. The coat he had this weekend and last weekend and such too. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
If you guys were managing, what would you wear? That's something I always wondered because I think I would. I'm a big comfort guy, so like as much as I want to say I would be like Lopetegui, I feel like I would rock the tracksuit. But for big matches, I would go. I think I would dress up, and like Europe, let's say, like if that were ever the case, suit. I think that would just be so fun.
What do you? Okay. So when you create a manager in FIFA, what do you wear?
Yeah. So usually I'll go with. I wish they had some more options, to be quite honest with you, because I feel like I would go with a sweater over a shirt, and then
Mhm.
like the casual dress pant with
Mhm.
like in the game they just call them like runners or trainers, like nice
Trainers. Yeah.
comfortable shoes, not quite dress shoes.
Man,
So
we're pretty close there, Alex. So I always go with just the tennis shoes,
Mhm.
Yep.
jeans usually,
there you go.
the sweater underneath or on top of the shirt. Except I always make sure it's a pink collared shirt, just to really stand out. And then I always got to rock the fedora, man. Alabama fan, you gotta rock the fedora. I used to have Fedora Fridays at my job in Houston. So every Friday I'd come in rocking a new fedora.
Nice.
Oh wow! So you must have quite a few of them then.
Yeah, I got about 8 or so. Yeah.
Oh man,
nice.
I'm waiting for Lopetegui. I'll be buying one if.
Oh my God! If
Lopetegui has one
Lopetegui comes out, which I don't think he would come out, but if he came out in a Wolves fedora, that'd be it.
Go nuts.
Yeah, it would be heading straight to the Wolves shop store. How about you, Justin? Does your guy have hair?
Yeah, I have to, right? It's enviously, right? Live through my avatar. Yeah, and I would probably skew into the Berhalter with the shoe game. Like I would probably like rock a set of different shoes for every game, and I would go heavy into the sponsorship of Nike or whoever the club was, right into that, because I would be in the casual shoes in a real life, and then I pretty much I think I would just go Ted Lasso style, right? Yeah, it's the sweater over the collar, khaki type pants, and then just probably some version of Nike shoes. I think that's where I would lean into and what I would go if it was me.
God, we're so fucking American, aren't we?
Right? No kidding. Yeah.
I would like the sweater with the
I know the collar
underneath.
Nice quarter zip. I could do a quarter zip.
Yeah, quarter zip. Yeah. Oh, I could definitely go.
I'll Manning cast this. Yeah, I think the suit would be fun for like a big thing, but man, like I couldn't get like worked up and do stuff in a suit. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I guess you watch like college basketball, college basketball coaches, and those guys do that too and stuff. The ones who still wear that, but I just screaming at somebody in a suit. I don't know. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Two other questions with this. Would you get your middle name, your middle initial on the tracksuit or on the stuff?
Ooh.
So your 3 initials or just first and last name?
Middle. I'd go all 3.
Yeah.
I'd monogram the crap out of that. Yeah.
How about you, Alex?
I think I'm going 3 as well.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. And then since he's not here to defend himself, what is Paul wearing on the sidelines?
Oh gosh.
I think Paul would be like a polo type guy. I don't know. I got a feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see him in a suit.
Yeah, what does Paul wear normally? If you've seen him in person, I guess. I've never seen
He usually, when I see him, he's usually wearing a Wolves jersey or a short sleeve polo shirt. So
yeah, I see him in a lot of polos on Zoom, like doing the pod, but that might also just be like the generic thing you throw on at work with sweatpants underneath, to be on Zoom, like, so maybe he'd be a comfort guy. I know he's an athletic guy doing a lot of athletic things on the weekends, right? I saw he ran like a half marathon recently or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe he would be our tracksuit guy.
Yeah.
He might be the tracksuit. Oh yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Custom made maybe because he's quite
tall, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's tall. He is tall.
All right. Well, great question from Stu.
We definitely got off the rails on that one. I knew at some point this would get off the rails without Paul, and here we are. No stupid questions.
Yeah, I feel like that should be everybody's goal in No Stupid Questions. Is just say something that would completely derail the show. That's kind of what it's all about. Let's see if we will go in as many directions with this as we did with Stu's question from Brian Donnelly from Charlotte Wolves, frequent guest on the show. What should we call the religion that should be founded to venerate our Lord and Savior Ruben Neves? If you had to name a religion,
something, right?
Man. Let's see. So what is it?
The all-seeing Messiah.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah. What do we need? What's the name of the religion? It's got to be in the spirit of that celebration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horse
Definitely.
is the eye god of Egypt. I don't know, like that logo that's the eye.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
you
God,
have to watch
we're
Moon
gonna
Knight.
offend so many people here.
I know,
Conrad.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
this is a tricky one.
See,
I'm gonna
I like
call
to
mine.
celebrate. Yeah, go ahead. Go. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Sorry, Justin. I don't want to cut off our guest here.
No. I was gonna say I was thinking more like the hair bun. If there was something to do in that, like the man bun. I was thinking of something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I like the celebration, but I was thinking the man bun. Like, you go ahead. Sorry,
Well, that would definitely be all the followers would have man buns.
Yeah,
Totally.
right. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Mhm.
Man buns and like sleeve tattoos. Oh man. I feel like that's a pretty fun. I don't know. I was gonna go. The celebration is after Pirlo, right? I think.
Oh, the Eye of
Let's just go with
Pirlo.
Pirloism. Something simple, like just throw ism at the end of something,
If you
and it
throw an
could
ism
sound
in
like
there,
a
yeah.
like it could sound like a religion, maybe.
Wonder Boyism.
Are they called the Nevites? Like the Nevites? Is that the
Yeah,
followers?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. And their strongest belief is just to, I don't know, score worldies.
The
And
strongest belief is if your shoe gets pulled off, it's definitely a penalty.
yeah,
I like that.
the founding principles of
There you go.
The
Yeah.
the bigger question
Right at
is
10
what
commandments.
would the bigger question is what would Marcus Rashford's church steal from Neves's?
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And then all the Man U fans would be like, no, he did it first.
He did it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Rashford is
So
very
this is like a real
charitable.
religion. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like religion. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Great point.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, let's avoid getting in trouble and we can move
Fair point.
on.
Yeah.
To Nick's question, who asked us on Twitter, are the Wolves ever going to wear their away or third jerseys? Don't get me wrong, I love the gold, but let's see how the teal looks. This must be a thing because last year I really liked the away kit that was kind of black, and they never freaking wore that thing like ever.
The only time I can think of them wearing an away kit fairly often was when they had the black pinstripe one, which was fantastic. But they were also playing in Europe then, which played into it. I love the golds as well, but yeah, they wear them too much. I would like to see, some variants. Like, you got away jerseys. Why would you wear them when you're on the road? I don't. Now, granted, I was okay with the one that was the blue,
Oh yeah, the cloud
shit show
Yeah.
one. I was fine. They didn't wear that one. And what's funny is the third jerseys are usually the better ones of the between that and the away. But yeah, it's wear your away jerseys at least some of the away games. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought they were. Before I saw what they were wearing against Liverpool, I thought they were gonna. I thought the club did like a 20% off sale on the third shirt, and I was like, they must be wearing them this weekend or something. But I guess now they're just trying to move them. Yeah, I like the away. I like both. I mean, I don't mind the white, but I like the away, the colors. Although, I thought there was something that last time they had that color pattern, they were relegated, and I don't. Yeah, I thought I saw something at the beginning of the season that the style that's mimicked off of, I think it was the Goodyear sponsor at the time, was very similar, and they were actually relegated that year. So I don't know if they're trying to stay away from it since they've been fighting it all season. I don't know, weird omen stuff, but months ago, I remember reading that.
I mean, I don't even know why we have 3 jerseys. It's kind of silly, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta pay for something.
Yeah, I guess so. And that's another reason why we've talked about it, how they need to have the MLS style where it's like every other year you're changing home. And then on the reverse cycle, it's the away. And you can throw in, a third jersey every year. So that way you're only having 2 jerseys that you're switching instead of 3 a year. I think that would be very.
Although MLS is allowing that now, right? If you have sales thresholds, you can have the third. They're allowing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe Wolves not suffer, but it's caused by the fact that they have such a distinct home color. There's not a lot of that because isn't the choice on who's wearing what often made just based on like the likelihood of it clashing with the other
I
jersey,
I
and also
think
like
the
they factor in
rule,
like color blindness and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
old
I
gold
think
doesn't
what
clash with like anyone else in the league.
I think what the rule is that home kit is given preference. The only time you would wear something different is when it clashes like that. And so it was like always against Watford, you knew they'd wear
Yeah.
the away kits. But yeah, any other times, I mean, I think sometimes on Liverpool on the road they would wear, a different kit. But what have we worn the away kits
I
this
don't
year?
think we have.
We've worn the third jersey, I think, once or twice.
We did, yeah, the white, yeah.
That seems
But
impossible if they haven't won it once this season. But maybe, I mean, I don't remember.
it was early if they
It's
did.
money
I
grab,
don't remember.
man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, maybe we need to root for Watford to get promoted. I think they are in a promotion place.
I hate Watford.
Oh,
I hate
yeah,
Watford.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Is Troy Deeney still there? It's SOB.
No, he left. He left.
Yeah, he's like, or no, he's playing somewhere. Anyway, all right, one more no stupid question. This is from Joshua Buckley. That sounds familiar. Do you want to ask this one, or should I ask it for you?
Yeah. Justin, how would you pronounce this? Wycombe.
Wycombe?
Yeah, see, it's closer to me than to the rest. So I said Wycombe. I said Wycombe because of the Wanderers, but apparently it's Wickham.
Oh, dang. Okay. Nope. Nope.
So yeah, we got into this last week when Kem Campbell was loaned out to Wickham Wanderers, and Paul was giving Josh quite a bit of stick for
Oh yeah,
Wycombe.
and I heard it from Stu too online. I said Wycombe forever.
That's what I was thinking. You said Wycombe. Yeah.
The other funny thing Stu from the Fancast pointed out was that I said, why are these Gomez shirts not available until June? And then he circled it and pointed out, yeah, it's because you Americans write the date wrong. It was actually February 2nd, 6/2/23. It's just, in our great country of ours, we have to be different and flip it. So, yeah. I was like, boy, my Americanness definitely showed.
not that I'm on a tangent, but you saw the 9/11 thing that happened with that this last year, right?
Oh yeah,
no.
Something. Yeah, okay. So the week is in reverse, and
yeah.
It's like, so it's an easy mistake if you don't know or don't remember one way or the other. Things can happen like that, so don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, I was pretty confused when you said it wasn't shipping till June, but also I have had some stuff from the Wolf store take
forever,
really, really long to ship that I actually just believed you right away. I never would have thought to question it. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I know it's not easy to get stuff overseas, but order early if you're ordering from the States from the store.
Don't forget about us.
Yay. Yeah. That's all the No Stupid Questions this week. Thanks everybody for sending them in, and continue to do so every week. You could set us off on all kinds of tangents at WLW Pod on Twitter.
We need more of the hide and seek ones. That was good. Todd always comes up with good ones. All right, Justin, how can anybody get a hold of you if they're wanting to watch a Wolves game with you in Tennessee?
Yeah, TENNWolves@gmail.com. I had a couple of folks reach out over the past few weeks. So again, appreciate being on here and chatting with you guys, and had people reach out and join in the group. So yeah, TENNWolves.
Alex, do you know Paul's outro?
I could definitely copy and pasted it in. No,
it'd be like, and this is the time. Thank you, dear listeners, for listening. Be sure and subscribe and rate us 5 stars for the fantastic job that we all do. And yeah, up the Wolves. I'm sure he says other stuff too, but up the mighty Wolves.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Just as eloquent. Whole Lotta Wolves is self-funded, so if you're interested in sponsorship opportunities as a way to reach a niche audience, email hello@wholelottofwolves.com for our sponsor packages. Just want to make a contribution as a listener who enjoys the show? Then head to buymeacoffee.com/WLWpod. That's buymeacoffee.com/WLWpod. We greatly appreciate any contribution. Up the Wolves.